Did you know that in 2026, thousands of residents in Canada are suddenly facing deportation, some without even realizing they're at risk? The government has quietly rolled out new immigration enforcement measures, and experts warn that millions could be affected. What does this mean for you, your family, or your future in Canada? The shocking truth is, it's not just people with criminal records. Ordinary residents, students, and workers could be targeted next. Imagine waking up one morning to find a formal deportation notice on your doorstep, leaving you with barely any time to react. Families are being separated, lives are disrupted, and communities are shaken to their core. The headlines are alarming, but the details are even scarier, because most people have no idea they are on the radar until it's too late. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 critical reasons you could be at risk of deportation in Canada this year. Stay with us, because understanding these hidden dangers could protect you and your loved ones from a nightmare you never saw coming. Number 1. Stricter immigration policies. Canada's immigration system is changing faster than most people realize, and these stricter immigration policies are at the heart of the 2026 deportation surge. The government has introduced new laws targeting residents with incomplete or outdated documentation, stricter verification procedures, and harsher penalties for noncompliance. Even those who have been living legally in Canada for years are suddenly finding themselves under scrutiny. It's not just about breaking the law anymore. Missing paperwork, expired permits, or small errors in your records can now put your residency status at risk. Experts warn that these policy changes are designed to tighten the system, reduce unauthorized stays, and make enforcement more efficient and aggressive. Immigration officers now have expanded authority to conduct checks, and random audits can happen without prior notice. Studies and reports indicate that thousands of cases this year involve residents who had no previous issues, highlighting how critical it is to stay informed. So what does this mean for you? First, it's essential to review your immigration documents regularly. Check the expiry dates of your visa, work permit, or study permit, and ensure that all personal information is accurate and up to date. If there's any uncertainty, consult an immigration lawyer or authorized service immediately. Second, maintain a record of your legal compliance, such as employment history, rental agreements, or tax filings. These can be invaluable if your status is ever questioned. In short, being proactive could mean the difference between staying in Canada safely and suddenly facing the shock of deportation. Knowledge, preparation, and attention to detail are your strongest defenses against these unforgiving new policies. We put a lot of effort into making videos like this for you. Just one click to subscribe ensures you never miss critical updates. Comment below and tell us how you're preparing for these changes. Your story could help someone else. Number 2. Economic pressures surge. The Canadian economy is facing unprecedented pressures in 2026, and these shifts are directly influencing mass deportations. Rising unemployment rates, increasing inflation, and growing competition for jobs have created a situation where the government is cracking down on residents who aren't fully contributing economically. What does this mean? Simply put, if you're not actively employed, paying taxes, or able to demonstrate economic stability, you could find yourself on the radar. Even those with stable jobs are being scrutinized more closely than ever. Experts warn that economic downturns often lead governments to tighten immigration enforcement, as authorities look for ways to preserve jobs for citizens and manage financial resources. Reports show that individuals who rely heavily on government benefits or have gaps in employment history are now being prioritized for review. The startling reality is that economic contribution has become a key factor in determining whether a resident can stay legally. So, how can you protect yourself? First, maintain a clear record of your employment history, income, and tax filings. Being able to prove your consistent contribution to the economy strengthens your position significantly. Second, if you are between jobs or relying on temporary assistance, consider seeking legal guidance or professional advice to ensure your status remains compliant. Third, keep yourself updated on economic-related immigration policies, as even small shifts in enforcement rules can have major consequences. Remember, in times of economic pressure, the government's focus isn't just on legality. It's on economic impact and contribution. Your ability to demonstrate that you are a responsible, contributing member of society could make the difference between staying in Canada and being forced to leave. Don't wait until it's too late. Proactive planning is essential. We've put a lot of effort into bringing you this critical information. Subscribe with just one click to stay protected. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know how these economic changes are affecting you or your family. Number 3. Criminal records risk. Even a seemingly minor criminal offense can now put residents at serious risk of deportation in Canada. What many people don't realize is that the government's new enforcement policies have made criminal history a top priority for immigration review. From small traffic violations to minor altercations, authorities are increasingly interpreting past infractions as potential grounds for removal. The shocking truth is that many deportation cases involve people who thought their records were too minor to matter until it was too late. Experts highlight that Canada's immigration system now treats criminal records with zero tolerance, especially for offenses related to fraud, theft, or even repeated minor violations. Reports indicate that individuals who once believed they were in the clear are now receiving official notices for deportation or legal review. This means that your past actions, even from years ago, can suddenly resurface and threaten your residency. So, what can you do to safeguard yourself? First, obtain a complete criminal record check and review it carefully. Understanding exactly what appears on your record is critical before authorities come knocking. Second, if you have any past convictions, even minor ones, consult an immigration lawyer immediately. Legal guidance can help mitigate risks, appeal decisions, or prepare necessary documentation. Third, maintain records of rehabilitation, community service, or other positive contributions that demonstrate you are a responsible member of society. These can be key if your status is challenged. The reality is simple but serious. Canada's immigration authorities are now linking criminal history directly to residency eligibility. Ignorance or inaction could cost you everything, while careful preparation and proactive steps can safeguard your right to remain. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences of oversight can be life-changing. We've put countless hours into researching and creating this video. Subscribe now with just one click to stay informed. Comment below and share your experiences or concerns about criminal record risks. You might help someone avoid a disaster. Number 4. Expired visas threat. One of the most common reasons residents are suddenly being targeted in 2026 Canada is having expired visas or residency permits. Many people assume a small delay in renewing documents is harmless, but in reality, immigration authorities are treating expired paperwork as a major red flag. Even a few days past the expiry date can trigger audits, investigations, or worse, deportation notices. The shocking fact is, thousands of residents are discovering the hard way that their oversight has put them directly at risk. Recent reports show that immigration officers are now using digital tracking and cross-referencing systems to detect expired visas quickly. This means that even if you have been living legally for years, authorities can instantly flag your status if renewal deadlines are missed. Studies highlight that timely document management is now more critical than ever, with a growing number of deportation cases linked solely to expired permits. So, what steps should you take to protect yourself? First, create a detailed checklist of all your visas, permits, and related documents, including their expiration dates. Set multiple reminders on your phone, calendar, or even a physical planner to ensure renewals are completed well in advance. Second, if you notice that any document has already expired, act immediately and contact immigration services or a qualified immigration lawyer to rectify the situation. Waiting or assuming it's minor could be catastrophic. Finally, maintain proof of compliance, such as copies of submitted renewal forms, emails, or payment receipts. These documents serve as evidence that you are actively working to remain compliant, which could save you in a legal review. Remember, when it comes to expired visas, prevention is always easier than reaction, and being proactive can mean the difference between staying in Canada or facing sudden deportation. We've poured a lot of effort into bringing you this vital information. Subscribe with just one click to stay protected. Comment below and share how you manage your visas or permits. You could help someone avoid a serious risk. Number 5. Overstaying permits. One of the most overlooked risks in 2026 Canada is overstaying your study or work permits. Many residents assume that a short overstay won't matter, but the reality is far more serious. Immigration authorities are now treating even minor overstays as a major violation of residency rules, and these cases are increasingly linked to deportation notices. The shocking fact is that thousands of individuals are being flagged simply for staying a few days or weeks past their permit expiry, and many don't even realize they are under scrutiny until it's too late. Reports and studies reveal that the government is using advanced tracking systems to monitor permit expirations and cross-check employment or enrollment records. Overstaying doesn't just affect your legal status, it can severely impact future applications, including visas, work permits, and even permanent residency. Officials are looking for patterns of noncompliance, and frequent overstays can paint a picture of someone non-compliant with Canadian law, which could make you high priority for enforcement action. So, what should you do if your permit is about to expire or has already expired? First, always track your permit dates carefully and start the renewal process well in advance, preferably months before the expiration date. Second, if you have already overstayed, take immediate action. Contact an immigration lawyer or authorized advisor to explain your situation and submit any required paperwork. Showing proactive compliance can significantly reduce your risk. Third, keep records of all communications and submissions related to your permit status, as these can act as proof if your case is reviewed by authorities. Remember, overstaying a permit, even unintentionally, can have life-altering consequences in today's strict enforcement climate. Being aware, prepared, and proactive is your best defense. Your future in Canada could depend on it. We've put a huge amount of effort into creating this video. Subscribe with just one click to stay informed. Share your experiences or tips for staying compliant in the comments. You might save someone from a serious problem. Number 6. Targeted demographic policies. In 2026, one of the most unsettling trends in Canada's immigration system is the rise of policies that target specific demographics. Certain age groups, nationalities, or communities are now under increased scrutiny, and this has directly contributed to the surge in deportation notices. What's shocking is that you don't have to commit any wrongdoing to be affected. Simply being part of a high-risk group could put you on the government's radar. Reports indicate that authorities are analyzing residency patterns and demographic data to prioritize enforcement actions, which means some communities face stricter checks than others. Experts explain that these policies are designed to streamline enforcement and focus resources on residents who may be perceived as higher risk, whether due to nationality, visa type, or even age. For many, this has created a climate of fear, as families and individuals wonder whether they might suddenly be targeted. Even long-term residents can be caught off guard if demographic factors align with new enforcement priorities. So, how can you stay safe? First, it's essential to stay informed about government announcements and community updates related to immigration policies. Being aware of which groups are currently under scrutiny can help you take proactive measures. Second, maintain detailed personal records such as employment history, tax filings, and proof of community involvement. These documents demonstrate that you are a responsible, contributing member of society. Third, engage with community organizations or legal advisors who specialize in supporting at-risk demographics. They can provide guidance and early warnings about potential changes in enforcement priorities. The key takeaway is that while these targeted policies may feel unfair, knowledge and preparation are your strongest defenses. Understanding your risk factors, keeping meticulous records, and seeking professional advice can significantly reduce the likelihood of sudden action against you. In a climate of demographic-based enforcement, vigilance is no longer optional. It's essential. We've worked tirelessly to bring you this critical information. Subscribe with just one click to stay ahead of these changes. Comment below and share your experiences or concerns. You could help someone in your community stay protected. Number 7. Tax and financial compliance. One of the most overlooked but critical reasons people are facing deportation in 2026 Canada is failure to file taxes or maintain proper financial records. Many residents assume that as long as they live in Canada legally, small mistakes on tax returns or minor reporting delays won't matter. The shocking reality is that immigration authorities now consider financial compliance a major factor in residency eligibility, and gaps in your records can trigger audits or even deportation proceedings. Recent reports reveal that thousands of deportation cases involve individuals who failed to submit accurate tax filings, underreported income, or had irregular financial activity. The government's increasingly sophisticated digital tracking systems allow authorities to quickly detect inconsistencies, cross-reference employment, and flag anyone whose financial history appears suspicious. Even residents who have paid taxes most of their lives are being targeted if there's a single missed or incorrect filing. So, what steps can you take to protect yourself? First, file your taxes accurately and on time every year, even if your income is low or variable. Keep all receipts, income statements, and financial documents organized and accessible. Second, if you have any errors or gaps in past filings, consult a professional accountant or immigration lawyer immediately. Correcting mistakes proactively can prevent serious consequences. Third, maintain proof of financial responsibility, such as bank statements, rental agreements, and employment records. These documents can demonstrate that you are a law-abiding, contributing resident. The key takeaway is that financial responsibility is no longer just about money. It's about survival in Canada's strict immigration climate. Ignoring tax obligations or sloppy record-keeping could place your residency in jeopardy, while careful attention and proactive compliance can provide strong protection. In 2026, being meticulous with your finances is more than smart. It's essential. We've put a lot of effort into making this video. Subscribe with just one click to stay informed and protected. Share your financial compliance tips or experiences in the comments. You could help someone avoid a life-changing mistake. Number 8. Political and social activism. In 2026 Canada, being politically or socially active can unexpectedly put residents at risk of deportation. Many assume that participating in protests, rallies, or activism is safe, but recent government reports reveal a different reality. Immigration authorities are increasingly monitoring certain political and social activities. Even peaceful involvement in activism can raise red flags if it intersects with laws or policies seen as sensitive, making your residency status vulnerable. The shocking truth is that some residents are now receiving notices simply because their activism was documented, reported, or misunderstood. Experts warn that authorities are not just looking at criminal activity. They are analyzing patterns of participation, affiliations, and public statements. This means that individuals who regularly attend demonstrations, support advocacy groups, or post politically charged content online could be targeted. The risk isn't limited to a specific community. Anyone engaging in activism could suddenly find themselves under scrutiny or investigation. Studies and case reports indicate that authorities are linking activism records with residency reviews, which can escalate to deportation if combined with other factors like expired permits or financial noncompliance. So, how can you protect yourself? First, always stay informed about laws governing activism and public assembly. Understanding your rights and your limits is critical. Second, document all activities carefully, including permits, registrations, or official communications. If you are involved in advocacy, keep records of peaceful participation to demonstrate that your actions comply with Canadian law. Third, consult legal or immigration experts if you are unsure whether your involvement could impact your residency. Proactive guidance can prevent minor missteps from turning into life-altering problems. Remember, political and social participation is a right, but in the current climate, awareness and careful documentation are essential. The stakes are high, and ignorance could cost you your right to remain in Canada. Being proactive and informed is your strongest defense against sudden enforcement actions. We've invested a lot of effort in creating this video. Subscribe with just one click to stay informed. Comment below and share your experiences with activism in Canada. You could help someone avoid a serious risk. Number 9. Suspicious travel patterns. In 2026 Canada, even your travel history can put you at risk of deportation. Immigration authorities are now paying close attention to frequent, irregular, or unexplained trips abroad, especially when they coincide with visa or permit issues. Many residents are shocked to learn that simply crossing borders multiple times without proper documentation or clear reasoning can trigger enforcement actions. Reports show that authorities are increasingly using advanced tracking systems to detect patterns that may indicate noncompliance or residency risks. Experts explain that suspicious travel patterns are not just about illegal entry or exit. They also involve timing, frequency, and consistency with your stated purpose of stay. For example, someone on a work permit who frequently leaves the country for long periods without reporting can be flagged as non-compliant, even if they technically return before their permit expires. Similarly, students or temporary residents who spend excessive time abroad without proper documentation may find their residency under review. The reality is that any unexplained or irregular travel can make you a target for investigation. So, how can you protect yourself? First, always maintain clear travel records, including flight tickets, boarding passes, and any official communications related to trips. Second, make sure all permits, visas, and permissions are valid and up-to-date before leaving Canada. Third, if you travel frequently, document the purpose of each trip, work, education, family, or personal reasons, and be prepared to present this information if questioned. Proactively showing compliance and transparency can prevent your travel history from being misinterpreted. Remember, in 2026 Canada, authorities are scrutinizing travel like never before. Being transparent, organized, and proactive is essential to protect your residency. Ignoring your travel record or assuming minor trips don't matter could have serious consequences. The key is to plan, document, and maintain compliance at all times. We've put a lot of effort into creating this crucial video. Subscribe with just one click to stay informed. Comment below and share your travel experiences or tips. You might help someone avoid a dangerous mistake. Number 10. Family and sponsorship changes. In 2026 Canada, your family situation or sponsorship status can unexpectedly place you at risk of deportation. Many residents assume that once family or sponsorship arrangements are approved, their residency is secure, but recent cases show that any changes or lapses can trigger enforcement actions. Whether it's a divorce, separation, or an error in sponsorship documentation, authorities are now scrutinizing family-related records more than ever. Even minor discrepancies or delays can escalate into legal challenges that threaten your right to stay. Experts highlight that family sponsorship is no longer a simple process. Immigration authorities examine financial responsibility, relationships, and ongoing eligibility. If a sponsor fails to meet obligations or if the sponsored individual's status changes, this can lead to immediate review or termination of residency rights. Reports indicate that thousands of residents have faced serious consequences because their sponsorship agreements were incomplete, outdated, or mismanaged, despite having no prior issues. So, what can you do to protect yourself? First, keep all sponsorship and family records updated, including financial statements, communication logs, and any legal documents. Make sure that any changes in marital status or dependent status are reported to immigration authorities promptly. Second, if you notice any issues or discrepancies, consult a qualified immigration lawyer immediately to correct them before they become a problem. Third, maintain clear proof of your relationship and residency eligibility, including joint financial records, leases, or affidavits, which can strengthen your case if reviewed by authorities. Remember, in 2026, family and sponsorship changes are not minor details. They can be the difference between staying in Canada and facing deportation. Proactive management, attention to detail, and professional guidance are your best defenses. Staying vigilant about these critical records ensures your family and your future remain protected. We've invested a lot of effort into this video. Subscribe with just one click to stay informed and secure. Comment below and share how you manage your family or sponsorship records. You might help someone protect their residency. 2026 in Canada has brought a wave of unprecedented deportation risks, and as we've explored, these dangers affect far more residents than many realize. From stricter immigration policies and economic pressures to criminal records, expired visas, and overstaying permits, the system now leaves almost no room for oversight. Even factors you may not have considered, like political activism, suspicious travel, or family and sponsorship changes, can suddenly place your residency under scrutiny. The shocking reality is that anyone could be at risk, and ignorance is no longer a defense. The key takeaway is clear. Proactive preparation is your strongest protection. Stay informed about policy changes, maintain accurate documents, keep records of your economic and legal compliance, and consult professionals whenever uncertainty arises. Every step you take, renewing a visa on time, filing taxes properly, documenting travel, or updating family records, adds a layer of security that can prevent sudden enforcement actions. Small, deliberate actions now can save you from a life-altering shock tomorrow. Most importantly, don't wait for a deportation notice to take action. Knowledge is power, and being vigilant, organized, and proactive ensures that you stay in control of your future. Canada's immigration system may feel unforgiving in 2026, but careful planning and attention to detail give you a real advantage. Protect yourself, protect your family, and stay informed because your future in Canada depends on it. Remember, these 10 reasons are not just statistics. They are real risks affecting real people. Take them seriously, act now, and ensure that you are never caught off guard. Your residency, your family, and your peace of mind depend on it.